Wind can certainly be your biggest advantage sometimes when you're fishing, but boy, it can also be a disadvantage. And understanding the pluses and minuses of wind and that disadvantage of having too much wind can really help put you in fishing situations that are gonna make it more enjoyable to fight all that wind.
On today's episode of the Bass Pro Shop's Fisherman's Handbook, we're going to take a look at the pluses and minuses of wind and how it directly affects fishing and boating conditions. In some scenarios, wind can help fire up the fish and make them bite better. But at other times, too much wind can become dangerous, rendering certain parts of the lake inaccessible.
To me, wind is the great equalizer. I've said that many times when it comes to tournament fishing or just trying to, catch some fish for dinner. It tires you out fighting the wind out there. It makes you question where you're fishing at, and it limits your ability to run to other locations to where you might know there's other fish. You just sometimes simply can't get there because the wind is just is too high. It'd be nice if we could have run around and really tried to find it.
But I mean, this creek might be all we'd fish today anyway, so
yep.
I think we'll be fine. The wind is absolutely gassing. And I mean, that's what happens in the spring a lot of times. If those are the days you got to fish, you just got to make the best of it. Either find protected shorelines, which is one of the things we did, or you got to find where the wind can kind of blow you down stuff. And so we found a little bit of a protected shoreline. The wind was kind of pushing in there. I mean, when it's blowing like this, it's still going to hit you. It's still going to affect you. It's going to affect your casting. It's going to affect your boat control. It's going to affect just a little bit of everything. Not a very big one, Wade, but
Finally captured one though.
we did get one though.
Yeah, well,
It was a bite, and I mean, when the wind's blowing this hard, you just got to get out there and you just kind of do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That fish hit it hard though.
he bit it.
He bit it pretty hard.
Hey, a bite is, you get confidence, who knows what you can do after you get a bite. We have certainly fished a lot of water already. That's probably the longest you and I've ever gone fishing together to get a bite.
I was getting a little concerned, I'll be honest with you.
When you start fishing in the wind, it's a challenge. It wears you out. You're going to be tired. You're going to be more tired than you would normally. You're constantly fighting boat control, but it's important to get out and fish in the wind because you learn new techniques, new styles, new presentations. Like how you would present a jerkbait. Jerkbaits in this time of the year, you don't want to fish them too fast. So if you go downwind fishing with the wind, a lot of times you're just, the bait's not going to be as effective. So you got to kind of fish it into the wind. Conversely, I want to fish with the wind if I'm throwing like a spinnerbait or a lipless bait or a deep diving crankbait because I can present it better. Come here, fish. Let the boat flip you while you're coming up. Think you're a smallmouth, buddy.
I mean, it might be 49-degree waterway, but he was an acrobat out there.
He did. It's unfortunate everybody else didn't get to see him, but he did. He's dark like a smallmouth and jumped like a smallmouth. That was fun. Well, that move already paid off for me because that's my first bite of the day. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Coming up after the break, we take a look at another recent trip with Wade and Clark where the wind is howling once again. Can the duo make the right decisions by choosing the ideal stretch of bank and tying on the proper lure to catch some big springtime bass? Stay tuned to find out.
There's no feeling like it. When you've prepped the gear, done the research, found the spot, nailed the presentation, and now there's only one thing left to do. Keep fishing. So gear up with all the best fishing gear, only at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Shop in-store or online.
When there's miles of water in front of you and hundreds of feet below, you need a boat with the chops to dominate, no matter the conditions. With the strength and technology to overcome the elements and the competition. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
You know, the wind's blowing about 35 miles an hour, maybe not quite that much, but I bet it's blowing 25 with gusts to 30. Clark's down there fishing on the rocks in the wind, trying to get an idea, and we're gonna go. And you know, what you have to do a lot of times when you have windy conditions like this is move around. But be safe. You know, this is where you want to have a PFD on, especially if you're by yourself, because you can get knocked out of the boat very easy. You know, pay attention to your boat ramps, what kind of wind direction that could blow in there. You get a lake that you've got several miles built into a boat ramp, and the windstorm hits while you're out, and you know, you might not be able to load your boat in those situations, but you can always find some semi or protected areas in the wind to fish. And so if you're as hardcore as we kind of feel like we are right now, we're gonna go find some. When we immediately put the boat in the water, the first thing I noticed, and Clark did as well, we both said it almost identically at the same time, the water color. It looked like the type of water you would want to throw a spinnerbait or throw a, you know, a chatterbait, a swim jig type situation. And you would want to fish those in a place where you felt like the fish were either actively feeding or moving up to set up the spawn, and use the wind as in our favor. I don't want to fish into the wind for long periods of time when I'm fishing that type of bait. Yes, at certain situations I do want to cast into it, but I really want that wind pushing me or quartering me or behind me so that I can present my bait. And once again, I've got power poles, I've got anchor lock. If I need to stop in a position, I can easily do it, but I don't want to fight a 25-mile-an-hour wind the whole time. And so using the wind to blow us down that bank, identify key places those fish are going to set up on, is going to allow us to present the bait properly, hopefully to catch fish. Yep.
Shallow. I mean,
on that tree. Good one too. Really good one. Oh yeah. Oh, that spinnerbait bite never gets old.
No, it doesn't. That's a good one.
That's a good one. He was up shallow. I like that. Come here, buddy. All right. There we go.
That's a chunker.
That's a chunker. Boy, he ate it. I got him on both.
I guess I'm gonna have to come get a picture of you.
Absolutely. God, he was shallow, Clark.
He was. I saw the boil when he did.
He was shallow. I like that. Classic spinnerbait bite. I mean, you called it pulling up. Oh, I think spinnerbait's gonna catch him there.
Spinnerbait would look like the bait.
Yeah.
And so we get out there and we're going along and Wade catches one on a spinnerbait. I mean, up there pretty shallow, 2.5, 3 foot of water, but the water fell off quick. So, you know, I mean, that tells me as soon as he gets the bite, I'm looking at what's going on. He's trying to pay attention to what's going on. He knew the fish was shallow. He knew the fish bit, and it bit hard. It wasn't like just a kind of a spongy bite, which is what you get in the pre-spawn a lot of times.
Another decent one, 2 3/4 right there.
Another pretty nice chunker there.
Yeah, for sure. God, healthy.
He was shallow.
Oh, real shallow. I mean, that's just one of those little short pitches up. And look at the shoulders on him. I mean, I got about 5 or 6 cranks. And boom. They just fish up there feeding, I guess. I don't know. That was fun. When you start looking at baits to fish in the wind, the first things that come to my mind are winding baits, baits that you can, you know, retrieve, cast and wind and use the rod to work or manipulate the action of them to generate a reaction bite in those types of situations. The things that don't pop into my mind are weightless worms, your trick sticks, Cincos, wacky worms, things like that, because they're much harder to be able to present accurately and much harder to be able to feel the bite. I'm not saying you won't catch them in a high wind situation, but what I am saying is they may not be the most effective way to cover water.
Good one too.
Heck yeah, that's a good one.
You know, when they hit it, you can see he just totally choked it.
Yeah.
When they hit it like that, a lot of times it's just a little bitty tick. Come Come here, dude.
That's a toad there. That's what you're looking for.
The size of that thing, right?
Gotta get the pictures out
Look how
on him
deep the
too.
bait is in his mouth. I mean, so all I get on that is just a little tick.
I mean, that was the perfect little ambush spot though. Little point.
It was just a little point that had a little deep water. I said it, when I said it had deep water, your comment was, I think we're gonna get one here. You know, because what we've learned is that we've gone along some rocky stuff that doesn't fall off of it. This, you know, the way they're set up for the little bit of time we've been here is the little bit steeper stretches is where they seem to be.
Kind of little, I mean, like a mini point almost right there. It just kind of comes out, perfect little ambush.
Stetson Blaylock, Tom Otten, Hank Terry, let's go!
Garmin Live Scope, I tell you right now, if you don't have it, you are behind. It's just wild. It's like a video game.
If you do not have that Garmin Live Scope, you are definitely missing out.
Bassmaster Classic Champion!
The Yamaha VMAX V6 SHO continues to deliver the level of performance that pro bass and multi-species anglers demand. Underneath a bold and aggressive new look, an upgraded charging system with 40% more charging power meets the amped-up demand for today's advanced electronics. The VMAX SHO, raw power, reliability, and exhilarating performance for every angler who loves the sport enough to invest in the best. Yamaha, reliability starts here.
From sun up to sundown, day in and day out, we work hard. We play hard. And to keep us going during those long hours, we demand performance. Angle Coolers, the original high-performance cooler.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. Engel, the original high-performance cooler. Sunline America, the strength to guarantee your confidence. And by Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line.
You know, for me, when I start seeing a high wind day, I'm also paying attention to the wind direction of what banks are going to be, you know, are the waves going to be crashing into, and how big are those waves going to be. And I do that in a mindset that if the waves are going to be too big, and make that bank unfishable, I can write that place off. However, in some situations, I've seen other boats bypass that area, leaving totally virgin water that nobody else has fished, that you can go down, and if you can navigate it and fish it properly, can really pay off with a lot of bites. This kind of shows you some of the bites we're having and how light they are, you know, with the wind. I remember a flipping trip on Lake Fairfield. Nobody was fishing several sets of reeds because the winds were blowing in on it. What I did was just go to a bigger weight, and by going to a bigger weight, I could be more efficient. I knew the fish were in the reeds. I knew they were up in there spawning. I knew I probably wasn't going to catch a lot of them on a reaction bite, which is normally how I would fish, maybe a spinnerbait or a square bill. But I knew those fish were locked down in those reeds spawning, so I just went to a bigger weight, punching into those reeds to catch fish. Bye-bye, buddy. You know, I literally just fished down this entire stretch, and this has been the best stretch, this little 100 yards right here that I had, and decided to go back through it because I'm moving so fast right now with the way the conditions are. We've got, you know, a 20+ mile-an-hour wind blowing into this pocket, and I missed one, and I probably caught 3, maybe 4 in this pocket, and I felt like I needed to just make another pass through it because I know, based on the conditions, I cannot be as effective as I would like to be. I'm moving, the boat's moving a lot, I can't hit the same pitch over and over, and I feel like these fish are moving up the spawn, and because of that, I need to be able to make multiple presentations to some of these areas. So we're gonna fish back through this pocket again. We literally just got ourselves back over here, and second flip, caught that one. while not a giant, he's a bass. When you get a lot of wind hitting your cover like this, whether it's you know, grass or whether it's reeds like what we're dealing with here, or brush or whatever it may be, it just makes those fish nervous. I mean, it's constantly moving and changing the environment in there that they're probably used to, because we've got a very stout wind right now. And I can almost imagine these fish in my mind when it's like this. They're darting and diving and moving around in this cover versus when it would normally be, you know, barely moving with the occasional boat wake or a 10-mile-an-hour wind, and the fish would be set up really good to ambushing. And right now, it's just crashing into the reeds all the time, and they're uncomfortable, just constantly maybe on the move, fidgeting around in there. And I think when it's like that, if you feel like you've got a stretch that's got a lot of fish on it, it gives you as an angler a chance to come back and fish that stretch a few times to get those bites, because the fish are probably repositioning themselves quite often. And there's no way anybody could come in here and flip every piece of cover and feel like they hit it effectively in conditions like this, unless you were just power poled down and spent an 8-hour day fishing 100-yard stretch. Oh, that's a good one right there. Got on that old windy bank. Over here, I got power pole down right here. Trying to hold me right here. He cracked it on the hop. Pow. That's fun. I mean, we're on the windiest bank on this lake right now. And fighting it down through here. Flipping in there, pretty big weight. And the fish are definitely eating it. You can get around them. They're not hesitant about biting it. I'll let him go back in there.
You've already discovered the secret to success with the Secret Lures Stupid Tube and landed big one after big one. Well, now, Secret Lures is giving you even more fish catching chances with the all-new Stupid Craw. Sized to fit the 4/0 Secret Lures Stupid Tube jig head, the Stupid Craw has you covered from the brand new 5/16 ounce down to an 1/8 ounce jig head. On the belly of the craw, you'll find 2 molded dots that act as a rigging guide, giving the jig head perfect alignment when rigged. The Stupid Craw also boasts a hook trough that protects the hook from snags and vegetation, allowing for a perfect weedless presentation. Anyone at Secret Lures will tell you the Stupid Craw is 3.7 inches of crawdad goodness that you're going to want in your tackle box this year. So head on over to secretlures.com for more information about the brand new Stupid Craw by Secret Lures.
Born in Japan, FC Sniper became the #1 fluorocarbon line in the Japanese market. It transitioned to the US in the early 2000s and continues to grow in prominence with anglers. FC Sniper is the flagship product in the American market and bestseller. It features the perfect blend of abrasion resistance, low memory, and tensile strength. FC Sniper is offered in pound tests that range from 2 pound to 30 pound and in spool sizes up to 1,200 yards. FC Sniper has the strength to guarantee your confidence.
TH Marine has been producing top-of-the-line marine accessories to rig boats from transom to trolling motor for decades. From jack plates to fish care to LEDs, TH Marine has you covered. TH Marine, outfitting your boat from transom to trolling motor.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Power Pole, Total Boat Control. TH Marine, from transom to trolling motor. And by Spro, Sports Professionals.
We've been talking about high winds and dealing with extremely high winds, winds in excess of 20 to 30 miles an hour. But little bit of wind, let's talk about a 10-mile-an-hour wind, or even less, a 5-mile-an-hour wind, and how that can impact your day very positively a lot of times. You know, if you're on fishing a dead, calm, slick day and you're not getting a lot of bites, a lot of times the first thing that I'm gonna try to do is find a big point or some structure that's got a little bit of wind coming across it. I believe that breaks up the surface a little bit, kind of stirs that food chain up, gets the phytoplankton moving, gets the bait fish moving, may even blow the bait fish in there. And I remember a trip on Choke Canyon fishing. I'd struggle not getting any bites. Gone to the back of the creeks, gone to the main lake points, couldn't get a bite. Just really couldn't get anything going. Started running common community holes. The South Shore Boat Ramp, one of the most common community holes on Choke Canyon. There was just a little bit of northwest wind kind of blowing into that bank right there on that big community hole point right there. Kind of came around it, throwing a spro of Ruku shad, and once I found some, dropped the power pole down, hit the anchor lock, man, I started catching them. Oh, Ruku shad doing some work. Doing some work. Doing some work. Oh yeah, God, that's such a fun bite when they bite like that. Oh, barely got you hooked. Barely got you hooked, but we got you. Look how healthy that fish is. I mean, little old mouth and big old body. That's the way we like to see them. You know, we've really struggled down here so far today. Now we're starting to get some action. And that's part of fishing. You got to go through the trials and tribulations and the failures to start catching them. Boy, that's a big old chunk. We're gonna get that back, see if we can catch another one on that same spot. I'm sitting right outside of South Shore Boat Ramp. I mean, it's, community hole number 1 for this end of the lake. But I've seen this point when it's really low. And I know that, what's coming off of here, all the different kind of broken rock and everything, and then there's scattered grass in here at this water level we're at right now. And like I was saying before, I've really been struggling today, not getting any bites. Tied this on, started ripping it through the grass and getting a reaction bite exactly like you're supposed to. And I know that this little seam and rocky ledge coming out here is gonna have some more fish. Like I said, I just missed one right there. The color choice that I'm throwing, which is, a lot of people would basically call this a clown colored, is a color that I like to throw when the sun is out, much like we have right now, midday. It's a color combination that's worked for me in a lot of different fishing situations while we're out there. You got a little bit of shad flash on the bottom, some gold with red, and I think it kind of combines the best of everything that you're looking for. And I'm throwing a pretty big one. The grass has really been stunted because of the cold weather that we've had in this area recently, and the shallow grass is really kind of laid over as I'm fishing, but you get out 7-8 foot of water, you can see some of that grass is starting to come back up in the sunshine. So you just, see what you can do. There you go. Another good one right there. We're gonna hit anchor lock right there. Just stay right here on him. You just got wind blowing in on this. It's a timing deal. We just happen to be the lucky ones that timed up when some of these fish are, whoa, up there moving. I was trying to play a little too much TV right there instead of getting him in. And you can kind of see the result. We're making the exact same cast over and over. Live scope showing me where the edge of that grass is. And there's another one. And that really helps when you can dial that in like that. And now I've been able to put the boat in the exact spot because I've hit, the anchor lock on there, and I can repeat that cast. And that's the key, I think, a lot of times on some of these edge fish that you get dialed in. Look out, kid. I'm gonna come right there. There we go. In summary, when I look at wind, it can be the great equalizer in a tournament situation. It can make it tough for guys to run around, get to their multiple spots so the weights can go down. For recreational guys just out fun fishing, same situation. It can be very frustrating to you, but the wind can be your friend. If you think about how to use it, pay attention to what's going on that particular day, unload at the right places, and hey, if you unload at a place you're not getting bit, throw it on the trailer, go to another boat ramp. You don't necessarily have to run across the entire lake in a 20, 30 mile an hour wind fighting that. It's not fun and it's not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. But if you think about the right ways to use wind, take some of the tips that we shared in this show, I think you're gonna find that you're gonna catch more fish on your next time that you're dealt with high winds on a bass fishing situation.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
We don't have a large laboratory to test baits. Why, you ask? We don't need a big laboratory because our pros fish, our employees fish, our owners fish, and our kids fish. This is our laboratory. Our R&D comes from time on the water. All that time on the water brings us thousands of hours of testing new products and improving current ones for all species. Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line.